USA. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of the Tap In Podcast. This is your host, Hutch, and with me, as always, are Mateo and Julius. And on today's episode, we'll be starting off talking about my beloved Aston Villa, and we'll be moving on to Tottenham and their relegation battle, then the FA Cup, because these two guys had a very successful week in that, and then we'll finish, Rosenior. We might talk about him at the end, his failures. No offense to him. So starting off with my Aston Villa, I didn't get to watch the game because it was at 6:30 in the morning my time, and I kind of went to bed a little bit late, so I didn't wake up in time. I usually am able to get up for it, or like at least halfway through, I can get up and watch it. But this time I was dead tired, and I woke up and I was like 6:30. I was like, all right, I'm gonna just close my eyes for a couple of seconds, and then I'm gonna watch the game. Close my eyes, wake up, it's 8:30. I was like, damn. Wake up,
Been there.
it's 1-0, and we lost. I was like, golly. But we didn't really play too spectacularly bad or good. We were just kind of meh. We controlled the ball for majority of the game. I think we had 61% ball possession. We had 10 shots on goal. We had I'd say we had 3 great chances. 2 coming in the last 3 minutes of the first half. I think it was, I want to say Morgan Rogers had the first chance where he received the ball into the box from John McGinn, or I forgot, and he flashes across the middle of the box, hits it, goes barely wide right. Barely. It was a good attempt. And then about 2 minutes later, I want to say Ollie Watkins shot the same kind of shot almost, but on the opposite side. He comes across the middle and he fires it, and it goes left. And it was just barely missed it. Our last chance was at the end of the game when Tammy Abraham, beautiful footwork. He did some like rollovers of the ball, kicked it past the guy, and then bow right over the net, right over the post. And he was like, damn. And then I think it was, I want to say right before halftime is when they got their goal. It was I don't think it was a header. I can't remember right now. Who was it? Who scored it? It was Ryan Sessegnon. I don't know. I'm sorry if I butchered that, but he just got his new contract extension, I think, is what was the announcer was saying. But yeah, it wasn't a very notable game. We dropped points in a game we shouldn't have. We should have beat this team. We had many chances from what I could see in the highlights, and we just didn't take advantage of them like we should have. And it was very frustrating when you control the ball that long and for a majority of the match and you can't win. But, we're coming to the end here, and all I hope is that we can do well in Europa League. Maybe finish top 5, top 6 here in the Prem and make it to the Champions League at this point is what I'm rooting for.
Which I think all seems pretty likely. I feel like you guys are kind of flying. You beat the hell out of Bologna in the Europa League, and right now, there's a big gap between, 6th to like 5th, basically. So I feel like you guys are pretty comfortable in the Champions League spaces. It could fall away, but I think we've gone through your schedule already, and I think you probably have what it takes to see it through and get Champions League next year. What do you think?
I think we can.
Yeah.
I don't want to say like coast and give up in the Premier League,
No.
but I think we're in a good spot. And, as long as I said it last week, as long as we don't lose, I think we'll be fine in the Premier League. But clearly, maybe they took a day off. I don't know. I didn't look like they were playing with any urgency from what I could tell. So I guess
end of year fatigue.
End of year fatigue as well. I think at this point they're focused on the Europa more than anything. So yeah,
I need you guys to stay within the top 5 so we can get an opening when you win the Europa League. Honestly, Chelsea's Champions League hopes lie directly on your success.
And Brighton's and Bournemouth's and Brentford's.
Yeah.
But you know
Well, on
what?
their demise, but
Yeah,
Actually, you know
but
what?
they're
your
all hoping
success.
for him to do something as well.
You're not the only ones hoping for our well, success and downfall actually. So there's a guy at my gym who hates Arsenal with every fiber of his being, right?
My kind of guy.
He's a Liverpool Liverpool fan. And we were talking about the Premier League and we got to Man City plays Aston Villa on the last game of the season. And he was like, "You got to let them win." And I was like, "Excuse me?" He was like, "You guys got the Europa League. It's fine. You guys are there's no reason for you guys to want to win that game." And I'm like, I'm going to root for them to win this game. I don't know who you think I am, but I'm not finna root for my team to lose. He was like, "Dude, it doesn't matter at that point.
You have
It
to
won't
understand. You have to kill
matter."
evil.
He was like, if you guys beat Man City, Arsenal will probably win." And I was like, "That's on them.
Yeah,
That's on them. If they
that's
can't
fair.
beat us, then that's on them. All right. I want us to win." And then
Free titles.
we were probably like, Unai Emery's probably going to take out all the good players anyway. At that point, he's going to put all the scrubs in so they can rest for Europa.
Would the Europa Cup have already finished by then?
I thought it was after the Prem was over.
It's usually right at the very end. That the Champions League tends to be like then the week after or something like that. So it could be that he could rotate and rest people. Maybe I don't know if they've announced the date because some of these competitions finals might shift because of the World Cup potentially. I could look up league.
Finale.
May 20th.
And then when would our game be? We are May 24th. So it would have been right before. So you guys could be gassed. Or you guys could be on a high.
Gassed or on a high, I guess.
Or
we'll have to
both.
see, yeah.
Exhausted and just like, you know what? Do we need it? It
If
has
we
come
win,
down to the last day between us before.
If we win, maybe he'll be like, "Well, this last game don't matter because we're already in." But if we lose, then he'll probably be like, "Every win counts, so we need to win this game."
Yeah, because then it could go the exact opposite where it really, really matters. And if it's very close between you guys and some of those other Champions League hopefuls, you never know. You might have something to play for.
We have been playing pretty good in the Europa, but I mean, we play Nottingham Forest upcoming, so I don't know. They're not too. I don't know. They're the only other Premier League team left, so.
I mean, they're looking kind of good. They just put a whooping on Sunderland this weekend, 4-0.
So we'll have to see how that
I mean,
goes.
they're they're definitely fighting for something too, right? So they're still
Are they another one of those teams if they win
in the relegation zone?
If they win,
Oh, you're
they'll
talking
be
about
in the
Europa
Champions
though, yeah.
League.
No,
They'll be in the
no.
Champions League, but then they'll be relegated in the Premier League to League
Yeah,
Two.
yeah, exactly. You could have that.
That'd be interesting. But Mateo, man, I was watching the highlights before we got on, and that was a great goal by what was it, Enzo?
Yep, Enzo.
Great header, beautiful header. How you feeling about this FA Cup, man? You're gonna have to play this man over here, his team.
I'm
We're
tired
meeting again.
I'm tired.
We're meeting again.
It's a roller coaster. I'm nauseous. But I'm just glad we scored a goal. We we kept the clean sheet, man. What can I say? That's really all I could think of because no, I mean they looked pretty solid during this game today. Definitely better than the outcome with the Brighton game. Robert Sanchez looked way more confident. Played an amazing game today. Had some incredible stops. A couple of blocks that are just insane. A 1v1 stop that he just immediately got out of with his right leg. great distribution, a lot of long kicks, some medium kicks as well, some midfield distribution, some build up from the back, a lot of which I think honestly plays to his strengths. When you Robert Sanchez is one of those people that I think I've said before has improved greatly, but the circumstances around the club have overshadowed that. Where at the beginning of the season he was on track to basically keep the most clean sheets. I think he had like a run of like 11 or something like that. Uh, I don't know how many. It was a long string of clean sheets. He was doing great. Enzo Maresca had changed his approach to again not require that high high risk press from the back or distribution from the back. And once Rosenior unfortunately kind of came along and he started trying to play as he knows best from his time at Strasbourg with a goalkeeper that's much better with his feet. He forced, not forced, but he really was he put a lot of pressure on Robert Sanchez to do something he's not particularly good at and also not very used to at this point. Um, and I think that honestly, come to think of it, that might be one of like the key moments that was like the beginning of the end for this bad string of formations because once he did that, if you remember, Liam Rosenior swapped um,
Jorgensen?
to
Was he
Jorgensen
for a couple games?
for the Champions League for the first leg,
Oh, that's right, against PSG.
which he was poor in.
Yeah.
And once he did that,
Oh
he
yeah, and
kind
he
of sucked. He
cried
kind
off
of
the field.
yeah, he kind of sucked the confidence out of Robert Sanchez, and after that, it just became honestly like that game, that first leg against PSG, that last 15 minutes. It was literally the beginning. That was when they hit that you could time the iceberg hitting the Titanic at that exact moment. But a lot of like vintage form came in this game. Caicedo wasn't amazing, but he was pretty good. He had good recovery, some good passing. He's again not early this year, but definitely not what he's been recently. And he did get a yellow. Um,
Of course he did.
yeah, Pedro Neto honestly looked. I think with Neto, his pace, I forget how incredible it is because we've been doing this slow build up for so long where pace is not always that as important as whenever you try to do these long distributions or these breaks where you just kind of need a pace merchant to do the deed. And yeah, he was impressive in that way. Obviously the assist that got us that goal with Enzo. Enzo, good positioning, good defending. He was kind of all over the place. I really think that like Enzo, we I know the fan base is split on Enzo because and even in this game he had some poor passes and poor moments, but he's one of those people that like I think I've said before, when he leaves, it's gonna take a while to recover. He's one of those like engines. He's one of those leaders. He's one of those people that you can see like waking people up, getting when everybody's head drops because they've been scored on. He's one of those people that tries to push along. He's obviously been, had his moments recently with kind of twerking for Real Madrid, but he'll be missed if he gets sold. But Joao Pedro, man, I love the guy. He was so impressive today. His hold up play was phenomenal. His control of the ball, his passing, his touches. Mm, Like I really think like get a proper world class coach with him, and I think you're gonna see somebody who's just like a little bit of an anomaly because he's not a traditional striker in any sense of the word. He's really kind of a false nine if you really think about it, but he feels so well rounded. He's got a lot of little things that make him like a jack of all trades, and he can finish on his best day. He's a great finisher. Um, Like I said, I'm just happy that we won. I was not expecting. Like honestly, I was pretty pretty pessimistic on this one. Leeds. Well,
We said last week,
we
Leeds
haven't
gives you
we
guys
haven't
problems.
we haven't beat Leeds this year, right? We
Yeah.
we lost 3-1 against him um earlier this year in December. And yeah, and we drew against them not a few months ago where we were up 2-0 and kind of give it up within like 15 minutes. So, like
Even within this game, I feel like Leeds looked really good at points. There was, I think, a really great chance for Brendan Aronson that he I think sends it straight at Sanchez. But going back to what you were saying about Sanchez, how impressive his shot stopping has been recently, kind of kept him out. But they weren't going to be, they weren't easy by any means. But you guys did good
no,
to
and
hold on and keep him out.
and I mean they had some great moments, but they also missed out on some good opportunities too. Some free kicks that were just wayward, some crosses to no one. So Leeds weren't exactly on their best. I like that first game in December we played against them. They were so aggressive. They suffocated us in our half. And they really made a meal out of that game. I felt like the intensity was there during the second half. We kind of shifted strategies a little bit, and we kind of like held them back for that 1-0 win. But yeah, it was overall. I mean, it was a pretty decent game, and good for Colin McFarlane for
Mhm.
for. I was kind of joking. I think it'd be so funny if he won the FA Cup and match the accolades of Arteta in
That'd be crazy.
within the what is it 5 games he's coached or whatever like uh
With no FIFA license, or
with
what
yeah he has
what is it, like he has
he's
half his
missing his
credentials?
UEFA professional license right now.
Jesus,
I don't
how do
really
you not have that?
exactly well it's because he's not a he
He's a
only
youth coach,
recently right he
right?
only recently he was a youth coach. He was the youth coach for Chelsea, the U21 team. But yeah he doesn't have all of his coaching badges. I don't really know what that means exactly. I don't know if he just can't coach in UEFA leagues or whatever, which doesn't matter for this season. Um, yeah, I mean, good on him. I'm sure he looked tired. He was doing those interviews. He's been for sure sweating it. Uh, he made a couple of comments that was kind of interesting. It really seemed like um, he said he was kind of disappointed that like he's because he had he ended up with a good relationship with Rosenior. Rosenior invited him to be part of his coaching team. And he kind of and maybe I took it the wrong way. He kind of alluded to perhaps the players not playing to their best to kind of the way I took it is he was kind of making it seem like there were people who kind of he lost the locker room and they stopped playing for him in order for
Yeah.
him to get sacked. Um, which, if that's true, I mean that's I mean I get not supporting your coach, not liking your coach, but you still have to go out there and play for the team. Like like to I understand where some of them were coming from. Rosenior didn't he didn't have the aura of like Conte or Mourinho of the past, that arrogant, angry, psychotic like style where he's just kind of which again like that kind of coach is kind of a thing of the past. He was more he was memed on quite a bit, and I think that kind of behavior
Question:
maybe didn't work out for the team.
would you have given Rosenior the rest of the season, or would you have fired him too?
No, I think there were definitely drawbacks with Rosenior, and honestly, with the turn of form that he had, like you just can't. Like there's 5 games left, 6 games left to play, right? Like you could easily go from a top 5 team and end up like with no Euro, and we're still probably in that trajectory, right? Like it's gonna be difficult to bring him back, but we're not that far away from still making possibly Europa, maybe Conference League again. which I don't know, that has its own ramifications. Look, once the locker room and the coach aren't jiving with one another, and like you just there's no point in belaboring it. You can't just force a relationship if they don't respect them, they don't respect them. So yeah, he had to go. But I do feel kind of bad on the situation and how he went. I think he is a talented coach. I just think that this is the step that there needed to be a bit of experience in between before he got to a level like this one. I really think so. And a summer, like to be, in his defense, he came in, he had some success. He tried to transition slowly from the old guard to the new guard, and I don't think that he was able to kind of download his tactics into the team efficiently. Um, and he was just not very well received. So, you know,
And I don't think it could be understated how much of a fracture him and the team probably had after that whole situation with Enzo sitting him out those 2 games after making those Real Madrid comments.
sure.
I did see I didn't see what McFarland said specifically about the players, but I did see that Enzo and I think Cucurella made some comments about his coaching style, and it kind of goes back to what you had mentioned last week, that sometimes they just seem like they were confused on
Yeah.
when to press, or like some of the tactics. It just wasn't gelling, and I think that plus that break with, is he the vice captain or is he
Yeah.
the
Vice
captain of the
captain.
team? He's the vice captain because Reece James is the captain, right?
Hmm.
um th- it if you're losing your general on the field and he's not listening to your instructions, he's making these comments as being disruptive, and they're seeing this, and it seems like you losing your authority. I mean, his days were numbered, but like you said, I mean, it was a tough situation that he kind of inherited. It was in the middle of the season. It probably was a step too far, too fast for him. But how do you say no when it it's basically your current boss saying, "Hey, you're getting promoted whether you like it or not, buddy." So,
And I mean, to be fair, like for sure, even like I don't think that's how it happened, right? Like I don't think Rosenior took that job not thinking that he was going to be able to do a good job at it. I think he took it. I think he was excited about it. I think he believed it was the right move for him. I don't think he was pushed into that position. I really don't. It's just one of those things where, so and it goes back to egos. Like I don't really think that ego, like Chelsea Chelsea's squad doesn't really, it's not like a bunch of Galacticos, it's not like a bunch of big heads, but there are egos. There are players that are looking
World Cup
to
winners,
their Champions
league
League winners,
winners,
Club World Cup. I know
Club
it's
World Cup
it's
winners.
belittled,
Yeah.
but this is how they feel. Like
No.
they want a coach that's going to take them to success, right? And the moment it doesn't feel that way, you absolutely lose them. So I think, and it's kind of shitty to say this, but I think that Rosenior was maybe a little too friendly. I think he was trying to be a little bit too,
Too
like
cute with his quotes. The
well, and it's not even that. Like he apparently
thinking
had a lot of
man.
one-to-one conversation. That
Too
was like
much of a
a
player's
long time
coach.
ago too. Exactly. He was trying to. It was too much psychological stuff and not enough like this is how we play now. This is our identity. We play from the
Hmm.
back. We do this. Like I never saw any like, oh, they're building up this way. I know they're gonna pass this to Audrey. Audrey's gonna flank it to the left. They're gonna create this triangle here. Blah, 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 blah. It was always like they just try to put as many men forward as possible, and then they just try to hope for the best. And supposedly there was a lot of like things that are yelled out to them, but like they're just like they're lost their heads. Like, they didn't know what's happening. And yeah, once the locker room doesn't feel you're an authority figure, once you don't see, like you said, a commander in place, then the whole thing shatters. And ultimately, it's probably a good thing that this happened like this. It's ugly and it's dirty, and he's being made fun of, and I kind of feel bad for the guy. But it's way better than dealing with like an Amram situation where you just have a guy that's clearly not who you need to have
And who's not
for a season.
pragmatic and willing to change things, who's just
Exactly.
married to a system
Right.
and is so
And
hyper focused on
and I
that
think
that
Amram
it's to the
Amram was
detriment of the team.
Emram towards the end was just trying to get fired, low key.
Yeah, 100%.
Like he, I think for 3 months he was basically like doing his best to get a payout. So I'm glad we didn't get to that. I'm glad that we're hopefully going to be able to, have like whoever ends up taking the reins is going to have a proper preseason.
Yeah.
I say proper. It's a little challenging. It's going to be a little bit like last season where we had people playing in the summer, which is kind of a bummer, but more of a preseason than Rosenior. And I hope
Potentially, yeah.
lessons are learned, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, in their statement, they were talking about, we as the board are gonna take time to reflect, and so that we could come up with the right choice going forward. So, okay,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
yeah,
sure.
we'll see. We'll see how
believe
much
it when we
because,
see it.
because none of those guys, none of those sporting directors are being held accountable for putting Liam Rosenior in this situation, for sacking a manager that was getting results. Maybe he was saying things that were unfavorable to them and to the structure of the club, but he, you know, he
And it's
did
not
do
even
things with this Chelsea team.
and it's not even with Enzo. Like my thing is I don't like, even from a money making perspective, right? Like at the end of the day, clearly capital is there as an investment firm. They're trying to make this team profitable. In no way do I see how that's possible with the decisions they've made. And hindsight is 2020, but like we've just had we only got back into the Champions League last season, and you fired the coach that got you there. He's the guy who got you Club World Cup. He's the guy who he got you 2 trophies, and he came in midway. If you remember, he didn't have he had success, and then he had a proper season. And you get rid of him because he was telling you what he needed to get you what you want. He wanted a goalie and he wanted a center back, which the dumbest pundits out there all could agree. Like everybody could see that that was the case, right? Especially with Levi Colwell going off injured,
Hmm.
long-term injury. You needed a center back, a proper center back. You needed a winger. You needed, like, you sold Madueke. You bought Gittins
But
and
you know who
Garnacho.
played good today?
Who? Garnacho?
Our favorite center back,
Oh,
Our
Tosin.
favorite center
Tosin.
back.
Uncle
Let's
Tosin, Uncle Tosin
go.
was phenomenal. Honestly, props to him.
Player of the season?
Huh?
Player of the season?
Yeah, Uncle Tosin,
Player of
player
the
of the
day.
season. Apparently in the locker room he's known as Uncle Tosin, which is kind of funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, he
Why? He's not that
aerial dueling, like a lot of good defending from him. Like I'll give him give him his dues. But yeah, man, it's a weird situation. Yeah, that board, I think you're absolutely right. This season, like I feel like the ownership is at a cross, right? You either you can either do the exact same thing you've done so far and hope that the original plan works, which you've had 4 years and 6 managers with Callum, um, or you try to do something more tried and true. You throw your money at a top level coach, somebody who has had success, who knows how to do it, somebody who aligns with the players you already have, and give him an appropriate transfer budget for him to purchase players that he's going to need.
And give him the
Autonomy.
wherewithal. Yeah, so
Yes,
exactly.
you have
They
to
need to
give
let
him
go
autonomy.
of trying to be in control of the transfer strategy, because clearly it's not working.
It doesn't make sense, because how is it that you're going from like all of these coaches, these four coaches who all have completely different tactics, completely different means of playing? How are you hiring these people and also purchasing players, and none of it jives together? Like, if you have a plan, it's not obvious to anybody. It really
Right.
isn't.
No, yeah,
So
just doing
we're not
shit.
seeing it.
So they need to if they're not going to sack the board, they need to remove some of the power. I'm sure there's some things that they're good at, but they need to collaborate with a person. Like, you've spent $2 billion You don't have. You've had one season of Champions League money. You have had, granted, Club World Cup, and you've had a couple of other cups, but this is not what you need. As you know, you don't have a stadium. You don't have a long-term sponsor. You don't have, like, your fan base is crumbling. So you're losing revenue on all the things.
I thought they just got a long-term sponsor. Did they not?
No. That AI company's just for this season, and then next season they're supposed to find another sponsor. They're like still technically a long-term sponsor, but they're only going to be a shirt sponsor for 1 year, kind of like that Athletic Infinite Athlete or whatever that they had last season.
Mm-hmm.
Same situation. Like, they were supposedly in talks with Oracle at one point, but that fell through. They were supposed to be a long-term sponsor,
But
but
Chelsea are a huge club. This shouldn't be an issue to get a consistent sponsor that wants to put money in your coffer so that you can invest
exactly. But here's the
into the
problem.
team.
Here's the problem. It's like a chicken and the egg. So if you don't get Champions League, you can't get the money that you're expecting. You can't get the $80 million
No.
that or $100 million that Arsenal or Man City's getting, right? If you're just going to be playing in the league, or you're just going to do a conference league, right? But then you also need to have those seasons, so successful seasons, in order to get Champions League and all that stuff. So if
Yeah.
you get your deal done in a season where you're not going to go to the Champions League, you're not going to make as much money. And so it all culminates in the fact that you haven't done the thing. Like, you're trying to be too Moneyball with the situation. And guess what, man? The teams that are doing this Moneyball situation, they're struggling. They're either mid-tier, mid-level, or they're struggling. Like Tottenham. Tottenham is being run in a very similar manner, where they haven't,
But no, I'm gonna
Just a
disagree with
shit
you
show.
there, because Tottenham aren't playing Moneyball. They're just playing stupid with money. Moneyball teams are like Brentford and Brighton, who have this model and who are so data like analytic driven that they're able to identify these gems from South America, from different parts of Europe that don't get eyeballs on it, and they're bringing in players that you guys end up buying or overpaying for them, like in a year from now for
Yeah.
100 grand, or for 100
But hold
million.
on a second. You don't think that Tottenham has been doing the same thing? They've just been doing it worse, because a lot of the play every
They're
season.
more concerned. I
Every
agree.
season they end
They're
up
like you
buying
guys, but I don't
people.
think they're playing Moneyball.
They're
They're more
always
concerned about
interested in
creating
the same
revenue.
people as all these other clubs.
But I feel like they're more concerned about creating revenue by building the biggest, and most beautiful stadium and stuff like that. But like you,
What club isn't doing
you're,
that? What club isn't doing? Everton just got a beautiful, humongous stadium by the
yeah, but
sea.
then they appointed Moyes, who has them looking competitive again.
Right. That's what I mean.
There's
Though
different ways to do it.
they're
You could
they're
spend
not
money,
playing
but
Moneyball, but like, there's certain ways that you can build revenue that makes sense. I think that there's also this Moneyball situation, but I think Moneyball only gets you so far. There, like, Klopp isn't Moneyball, Arteta isn't Moneyball, like Pep isn't Moneyball. You see what I'm saying? Like, the
but it's
top,
the recruiting, I think, is the big issue there, because
but I hear you, but Pep and Arteta and Klopp, they all had a large amount of say over who they got.
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
That's totally different than a lot of these other teams, right? It's different than even what Brentford's doing, and what Brighton does.
They have head coaches and not managers, is what you're trying to say?
Yeah. Like Ariola, Antonio Ariola, who's just left Brentford. One of the things he struggled with was
Bournemouth.
with Bournemouth. Sorry, is he didn't have as much, autonomy as you'd hope. And I mean, he's a younger coach or what have you. But anyways, if I think the
You think
answer
it's
to
better
all
to
of
have a
this,
manager over a head coach?
I think there needs to be. I think that if you have a manager, you can't have him half cocked. If you hire a guy, it can't just be you hired a guy to go, like, he's not flipping burgers, right? It's not. It's a tactical identity that you're buying into. And if you're gonna hire a mechanic, you gotta give him mechanics tools, right? You don't give him like Play-Doh, right? You don't give him like things to sew with. You give him a wrench. if you're gonna hire a proper coach and you agree with his tactics and you think that the investments you've had, the players you've had are gonna align with what he does, but he's telling you, hey, I need X, Y, and Z, you gotta give him X, Y, and Z, or don't hire him.
But again, I think that comes down to, even if you do have a head coach as opposed to a manager, have a director of football that has some football IQ,
Yeah,
not just a businessman in a suit that's looking to turn a profit. And I think
100%.
that's where teams like Chelsea and Tottenham have struggled over the last couple of years, where there's not a clear footballing identity because it's not being relayed from the footballing director and the recruitment all the way down through the pyramid to the head coach. Or if you get a manager, you hope that they bring that with them. But unless they're fully in charge of transfers, they still need to have that working relationship with the head of recruitment or something like that. And I think that's where you guys are struggling, because you guys are so concerned about getting these young players to put on long contracts so that you hardly have to pay them, and then flip them for a profit by selling them somewhere else.
I mean, look at these coaches we've had so far, and
sounds
look
like
and
not
how
a soccer team.
no,
I was just gonna ask you that.
like
Do you know how many coaches you've had in the last 10 years?
We've had Tuchel, we've had Potter, we've had Bruno. I think he's an interim. We have Lampard, we had Pochettino, we had Maresca, we had Rosenior, and we had McFarlane. Like, each one of these
That's a
people,
lot.
but it's not even that. From Tuchel to Potter, schism in their strategies. I didn't really know how Lampard really set up. I wasn't really that familiar with. I mean, I think he was an interim manager as well, right? I don't think he had a full season. Lampard.
Have y'all
Lampard
had
he
more
Before
interim
Poch?
managers than you have head, like actual?
No,
No,
it's just
I think
the
it's just
heads
two.
don't last very long.
No.
So within the last 10 years, you guys have had 10 managers.
5 regular managers and 5 interim managers?
No. Antonio Conte
No.
was a regular manager. You had Sarri, who was a regular manager. Frank Lampard was there for 2 years.
So I don't count those because that was still
Oh, that was still Abramovich, is what you're
Abramovich.
saying?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at the last 10.
Yeah, Tuchel's where he came in. Because Abramovich, like he did the same thing. He was chopping and changing coaches all the time. But you know, I don't know, he had success. Certainly, there was somebody behind the scenes who was driving that boat because they had success, right? But it wasn't until Tuchel. So Tuchel, Potter, Maresca, and Rosenior are the last 4 head coaches. And then McFarlane.
Pochettino as well.
Did I not say that?
No, you won't.
Just then.
Oh, sorry, Tuchel. Oh, I said Lampard, but Lampard I think was interim.
Yeah, that time he was interim.
Yeah,
you guys had him before for like a stint.
Yeah.
And it also didn't work out.
So,
So
are
so
you
that
guys
one
gonna beat
that
Man
one
City?
that one's a little weird because we had a transfer ban, and he actually was relatively successful. It's just that it was like the squad was even more scarce than what he probably had. He would have probably been relatively more successful.
Okay, but are you guys gonna beat Man City?
No.
I mean, Burnley held them 1.
Exactly. I think we've talked a bit more. No, but we said this before the last meeting. I think you guys are spoilers, and I think you guys are capable of showing up for big games.
Mhm.
How am I trying to convince you that you stand a chance?
It's because I've seen what you guys have done. I've seen you know, Cherkis,
I think we're getting
Semenyo.
hot at the right time.
You guys have even
Caught
your
fire.
bench, right? So even if somebody goes down, like I don't know. I just, and defensively you're so robust, right? Kusanov and Gahey and
yeah, but
like,
those
Ake
guys
been coming in there, man.
okay, yeah.
We had Ake, yeah, exactly, and Johnny Stones. And my thing is, we are robust, but we are also down Ruben Diaz, before you, at the beginning of the season, you would have said would have been a nailed on starter. Vardiol would have been.
Ariel, yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah.
If Gahey or Kusanov goes down, we're stuck with Stones and Ake, which, yes, a lot of experience, but tired old man legs.
Hey, look,
Like
man,
me.
he went out there and did his thing against
He did.
Arsenal in that
He
Carabao.
did. He definitely did. I was surprised, but I wasn't expecting that.
I mean, if the team shows up, which maybe they will, because this is like the last opportunity to make this a successful season, and maybe they want to
McFarlane
show.
is a hell of a manager.
You know what? I think here's the thing. Sometimes
There's been one game.
I'm not, but
there's
I'm not
something
even,
to be said. No, I agree with
he's
you because
won a
there's
couple games in the last
one game. He's won one game. He drew against you
Okay.
guys, and he lost to I forget who.
Listen,
but I will say
better than some managers.
sometimes less influence is better than too much influence, and I think Callum is probably there. I'm being dead serious. I mean, he had tactical changes during this game. I don't know what they were exactly, but he set the team up right. I would have never expected Tosin to have been the right answer, but clearly it was. So he's doing something right. He's doing something right, is all I'm saying.
Tosin.
You love Tosin, huh? He seems like a good guy. Every time I watch something about him, like online, he seems like a good.
Just something I latched onto. I don't know.
Until you see him play, and then you get furious.
But Julius, you guys should have absolutely killed Burnley, though.
I feel like, yes, I agree. But before even that, I want to hear, who are you thinking for your manager? Because, speculation is part of the fun of being a football fan. Out of the guys we named, Thomas Tuchel, he could get you over the line. Mauricio Pochettino, he's more of a project guy. Enzo Maresca, he's a great tournament manager. What kind of manager do you want next? Is my question. Before we jump to me.
So I don't know. I guess ultimately it's a manager that has experience winning with a young team.
Okay.
I think there's a name in mind.
I have one.
I think it's a name in mind, but I think it's far-fetched.
Okay.
I think for me, if the ownership is willing to change their ways and provide autonomy and provide a proper, which by the way, they just took out a loan for $500 million at 11%. Jeez. So they better be splashing some money on
who are you guys
players.
Gonna buy now?
I'm hoping it's Xavi Alonso.
Oh, okay. That's the name that you're thinking.
I think you would want that.
I think what he did. Hold on a second. There's two different things. It's what I want versus what I think is realistic.
Oh, okay.
What I want is what he did with Dortmund. I know that was Germany, and I know that that's Spain, and I know that
Leverkusen.
Oh, sorry, Leverkusen. Yeah. The double undefeated season with a very young squad. That's the kind of thing I want. If he was able to hold his own as long as he did at Real Madrid, with the egos that he had to deal with there, with that President Florentino guy, Chelsea, the chaos of Chelsea should be nothing in comparison, as long as he's given the tools.
But wouldn't that be a similar situation where there's a lot of player power?
There's not in Chelsea. All Chelsea wants, Chelsea is starved of a leader. It's starved of a direction. That's all they want.
You don't think Enzo, the whole Enzo situation, you don't think they maybe didn't win on purpose?
I think
to get out.
Yeah,
Mr.
for sure that. But I think it was a little different.
Well, obviously in comparison to Madrid and Mbappe and Vinny,
right?
Yeah.
If anything, the group was
all the egos.
Losing together, teamwork, right? Yeah, teamwork. See, the Bears, that's what they're lacking. That's why they fell.
I was gonna say that's a bad omen, bro. I don't know.
I think, look, all I'm saying is Xavi is a proper player. He's a legend at Liverpool. He has the accolades. He has the backing. He comes in. He's a leader from day one. He's going to be respected from day one.
Can I give you two alternatives?
That's fine.
They both have a history, Both of the guys I'm thinking of have a history with Real Madrid and Chelsea.
Nah, don't bring Mourinho. Nah.
Mourinho was one of them because
No.
Mourinho
He's free.
He can handle
demands
it, bro.
respect. He's a bigger legend than any of these people
Agreed.
at Chelsea.
But he doesn't.
And he has a
And-
bigger ego than everybody
And
on the
he's gonna
team.
slap everybody.
I agree. But we don't have
Control freak.
Mourinho's gonna expect talent
Backing.
that we don't
Yeah.
have, backing
Yeah.
that we don't
Okay.
have.
So-
He's a great manager, but you need to give him good players. He's
Yeah.
perfect. I think he would be perfect. By the way, I think he would be perfect to come back to Real Madrid. He's a little bit over the
Which
hill. He's a little bit
Is
over the
another
hill,
thing
let's
that
be
they're
fair.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think he would honestly he would bench Mbappe the moment that he started thinking that he was the leader of that team. He would do that
Okay.
kind of thing.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Uh-huh.
Because
Zlatan, he did with Zlatan. Zlatan was almost the exact same thing.
again, he's a bigger legend than anybody
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so then let me give you a different option.
Okay.
A certain Carlo Ancelotti
Ancelotti
after
would
the
be
World Cup.
good. Ancelotti.
He's based on vibes. He's not a big tactico.
No,
He's
and
been at
he
Chelsea.
He would have
He knows
a
the
great chemistry with the players. Half our team's from Brazil. I mean, he's almost a Brazil legend at this point.
Yeah. And he was able to gel and piece together that Real Madrid team who still had some of those egos
Yeah.
already in place, minus Mbappe. But you know,
Did you guys see that Mourinho's coaching an Invincibles team right now?
Yeah, but they're not going to win the season.
Exactly. They're
Yeah.
not gonna win the
what?
season.
What team?
Invincible.
They
Lot of
haven't
draws.
lost a game.
They haven't lost the game.
They haven't lost the game.
okay.
9 draws.
Benfica,
Damn.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Benfica.
in Benfica. I didn't realize they were doing that good. Okay.
I mean, honestly, I would take. I mean, even Mourinho. I'm being kind of shitty, but I think Mourinho would obviously do much better than what we had so far. Absolutely, those three. Do I think that's gonna happen? I just can't see it, honestly.
Okay, so more realistic.
Realistically-
What about a Frank Lampard?
Back again?
Frank's.
Yeah.
I would take Frank. 100%.
Who
I would take Frank.
who just got Coventry promoted?
And that's why I don't think he's gonna take it.
But I knew you were gonna say that. But your boy Enzo Maresca did something very similar. He brought Leicester City, he promoted them, and then immediately took your job.
If you
He's a
heard,
club legend.
Have you heard?
Leicester
you
City's
heard-
in League One now.
Yeah, I know. Heartbreaking. But
But that's not Maresca's fault.
that's
You can't
not
blame that
Maresca-
on
that's
him.
Maresca's fault. But
He
hold
left.
on.
It
Here's
is
the
his
thing.
fault.
Here's the difference. Have you heard? Like Maresca is a little bit of a career coach where he's trying to, as he should. Frank Lampard, if you've listened to his interviews, how proud he is of that team. I just don't. He is, first of all, he doesn't need to. He's already a legend. He doesn't need to make a name for himself. He could do whatever he could retire today and just do nothing.
Yeah,
and he'd
for
be
sure.
fine.
But he is coaching. He's been there before. He knows the club.
Yeah, I agree. And tactically, he's sound. And like I said, he really didn't do that bad during his first stint, all things considered. So I would take Frank. I would take Lampard. I'll tell you what.
His second stint not so great, but
No, yeah.
But he's matured a lot because I mean,
Oh yeah, made
that's a
lot
big
of
This
deal.
will be a third time?
Yes.
Jesus. What was the point of the second time then?
He was interim for the second time, right?
Yeah, it was after Graham Potter left.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was there from April to June.
So I have the bookies site, which I don't know how much this really means, but these are from top to bottom the most likely or I guess have the best odds of being the next coach for Chelsea. Andoni Iraola, Felipe Luis, Cesc Fabregas.
I feel like that's another Graham Potter situation.
Felipe Luis.
No, Iraola. I think we talked about it off air that I feel like any of these mid-table guys that are looking for a next big step up, Chelsea is. I think
them up.
is. Yeah, because it's Thomas Frank. I feel like Thomas Frank did a lot of negative damage to a lot of these coaches where they're not going to be trusted in these big projects
Yeah.
for a while. I think.
Rightfully so.
I think that Andoni could have success if he's given a transfer window, like a proper transfer window, because his style of play is it's adrenaline. He's
Mhm.
almost like the exact opposite of Thomas Frank in that sense. But to do that, you need experience, fast, fit center backs.
Willing runners.
Right, because he's a high line. He's closer to like a Pochettino, not Pochettino, yeah, Pochettino in that sense, right? Where he's high line, he's very aggressive, which I would love. Like regardless, it would be some fantastic watches, but it's also like high risk, high reward situation. Kind of, it basically be Barcelona. Like we basically be Barcelona right now. And without proper center backs, without a proper defense, it would just crumble absolutely. Or he would have to shift his tactics to fit the team versus the other way around. Cesc Fabregas is actually an interesting one. He's
I like
very
Cess.
young, but
Yeah.
he's very. I at first I thought it was an impossibility until the CEO was like, I would be okay with him leaving.
I saw that.
I was really surprised by that. He's also I think partial owner of Como.
Yeah.
I
So he
think
has financial incentive to stay in Como and see them get Champions League, but he is another person who has a very big reputation in both Chelsea or in North London.
Mhm.
That
Not a lot of experience in coaching though. All of his coaching has basically been in Como and
yeah.
in Italy, which there has to be a little bit of a tax whenever you talk about, going from one league to another. I think his style of like he's tactically really similar to like a Maresco or a Pep. He's a possession based kind of playmaker, which covers up a lot of gaps. I would say like if would almost say if the owners don't change their strategies, I think they would have more success with CES. I think if they do change the strategy and they give money for players, I think Andoni would actually be more successful. Um, because again, I think I really like how he set up recently this season. So that would be interesting. Another one that really would be exciting that I see on here is Julian Nagel tactically fluid. Like he's like a real tactician.
but also had a similar situation where he lost the dressing room in Bayern
Yeah,
and promptly got kicked.
would it?
Yeah, because he's super young as well, and some of the German hierarchy were saying he wasn't serious enough and stuff like that. But I mean, I think he knows how to deal with a very strong board.
Yeah, right.
Hopefully, he learned something in that
Nah.
time. So okay.
The
So
the
who would
most
be
blue
your
co the by the way, there's one name that's not on that list that it would be the most blue co move possible, and it would literally it would explode the fan base. Like this would be like the most middle finger selection, and that would be Gary O'Neill from Strasbourg.
yes?
That would be
Took
crazy
over
because
Strasbourg.
I can see the board being like, you wanted Premier League
Next
back
one up.
right, yeah. You wanted somebody who was Premier League proven? Well, he's Premier League proven. You wanted somebody who like I could see them being like Gary O'Neill's up next.
There will
Let's
be
chop
another
him up.
protest. There will
Oh
be
yeah.
another protest
Oh, it would
immediately.
explode. It would
Yeah.
be a
How would
horrific.
Rosenior feel, man?
Exactly.
Can I go back to Strasbourg? Can I get my old job back?
Gary O'Neill would be an implosion on a lot of things. I think I honestly like I'm not gonna be too negative on that, but I think like there's been a lot of pressure I've been reading about like internally. Some of like the investors are kind of like also providing a lot of pressure internally in Clear Lake, Todd Bowley as well. Like there's supposedly some quarreling that's happening at a high level too. I'm wondering if that's gonna stem a swap right in tactics. And I know we kind of mentioned that like if they're really going to do that, why haven't we seen them fire people off the board or what have you?
Yeah.
We might see that in the summer realistically, right? Like
Possible.
why fire, why disturb the nest right now? Why
Yeah.
make things more chaotic than they already are? Just wait until the summer. The World Cup will be happening. You can probably get a couple people in and out while everybody's watching the World Cup, and it'll be a little bit less
Trying to sneak
hectic.
it in.
Yeah,
And
that would
negotiate
give.
with maybe some of the coaches there.
Yeah,
It's possible.
I'm
I
hopeful.
could.
Like I really could see, and I really think that our squad, like that board, hasn't been a full dud. Like we have great players in Chelsea, we really do. In fact, the fact that they've been able to get this far with how many anchors they have around them, like these good players, really says a lot to like if they had that support in certain positions, how far they might be able to go. Like look at you guys at the beginning of the season, and look at you guys now from the addition of basically 2 people.
Yeah.
Like these additions are impactful, and they could really
True.
take Chelsea to where they need to be. That being said, Cole Palmer needs to be brought back. Somebody needs to bring back to life. I'm so scared. I'm so
His
sad.
soul needs to be
He
put
was
back into his
he was
body.
terrible today. He only played 20 minutes today. He just came
Sold.
back from a bit of an injury. I don't want him to play anymore.
tore
I want
another
him
groin?
to rest. It was a thigh thing.
Oh no.
Sex again.
I want
Doing
to
too
see
much,
him
Cole.
healthy again. I want to see him at a full force. I don't know if he's gonna be called. Tuchel was in the game. I don't know if you saw that. He was watching the game. He might not be called for the World
Wait.
Cup.
I think him and
Oh.
Foden may
You
not be
don't think-
called.
He was
Yeah.
at our game yesterday.
Tuchel?
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's looking
watch
at all
Ali
these players.
Watkins whiff on his attempts.
But maybe he liked what he saw from Morgan Rogers. Maybe.
There you go.
Who also whiffed on his attempts.
Who would you guys pick for Chelsea? Okay, imagine you're Chelsea fans, and don't be shitty. Don't say Gary O'Neill.
No.
Who would you pick? Or I guess who would you pick if you were gonna
To sell
bring
tickets?
them? And then who would you pick realistically? Like who do you think is actually gonna be coach? Who should they and who will they?
If I wanted to choose a coach to sell tickets,
No,
and
not to
care
sell
about
tickets.
the product on the field.
Always, it's always to win. That's the objective. Is always to win the Premier League, win cups, go to the Champions League.
It depends what the board are willing to do. Like we said, if they're just looking for another head coach, another person that's just going to go along with whatever their strategy is, I don't think Nagelsmann would be terrible because again he does have that experience with a tough board where he may not, they weren't giving him much say in Bayern, and he was still able to do a decent job until he eventually get ousted. But if they're willing to put an experienced head in there that is going to have input on transfers and is going to be relied upon to be a clear messenger of a style of play, I like Ancelotti. I think Ancelotti, for real. I genuinely think there's going to be a lot of managers on the market after the World Cup that there might be a couple of really interesting prospects, of certain managers of a certain caliber, like a Mourinho, that
Mourinho's
might be
twerk-
drawn back
I
to
don't
the
think
Prem.
Mourinho would ever come back either. to
No,
Chelsea, ever.
I mean, I've heard that Newcastle have said that they want him as well, but I think Newcastle
before he
are-
retires, he's gonna coach every single team in the Premier League.
100%, 100%. Or I really I could see him going back to Real Madrid, but I like Ancelotti for the job. I do like Felipe Luis. He had
Yeah.
some success.
Oh yeah,
in
he's had
South
it with
in Brazil,
yeah.
but
that'd be great.
yeah, I don't know.
I just don't know. Like, do you know? Like, what has there been managers that have come from like Brazil into the Premier League and been successful? Like, I don't really know how well that. I mean, it's a physical,
directly from
league.
Brazil. No,
right?
no, I don't know. But I mean, Arsene Wenger came from Japan, and they thought he didn't know shit, and then he changed. No, but for real, they were like, "Who's this French guy?" And
Now look at him.
he did things, for Arsenal that they haven't been able to replicate.
Yeah.
My ideas, I wouldn't say are crazy.
Okay.
I don't see. This is where my knowledge disparity comes in, is when we start talking about the managers. 'Cause I don't know as much.
Okay.
I know of them, but the first person who came to my mind, and I know he wasn't that good with his positions, although last time he was given a shot, he did do pretty good. And I was thinking of Thierry Henry. If he was given a shot and with an actual team, maybe he could do something. But you guys know more than me. I don't know anything. And
I don't
then
think
second thought, I don't know
Yeah.
why, John
Who?
Terry. Because I
Yeah,
was thinking of
who
I was
is
thinking
a
of-
youth coach
John Terry.
in
because
the
I was
academy.
I was thinking of players who have a great relationship with
Mhm.
Chelsea and the organization, and he
So-
played there like his entire career, damn near. And so I was like,
everybody's confused why John Terry wasn't put in as interim coach for the end of the season, because like you said, he has coaching experience. He's a Chelsea legend. There's one thing that he is that the board does not like. He's heavily outspoken. Literally the only reason that I could see why he hasn't been no this is to Callum, he's been doing very well, that John Terry isn't in the dressing room right now is because John Terry would be outing everything immediately. If you thought that Maresca was bad, John Terry's will set fire to the ship day one. I really think that that's the reason. But he would be the right guy. He honestly right now
I like
he would
that
be the
shout.
right guy. Yeah, that was a
Yeah.
great shout.
I like that shout. It's just again, are the coach or are the owners going to allow the coach to be the coach and say the truth about, the hard truths? You may not like to hear it, but it might be what some of these players need to realize the situation they're in and how they're contributing to it. They need a rousing leader that can call them on their shit, frankly.
I sincerely don't even think that it's like, well, maybe Fofana is a little bit like that way, but I think that the team is just confused. They're a beehive without a queen. That's
You think
a
Terry's
metaphor.
that queen? Do you think?
I don't think Terry's that queen. I think that he should have at least been given the opportunity as an interim coach.
I agree.
That should have been a shoe-in.
At the very least.
At the very least, and if he was shockingly successful, then you could see him as one of the contenders for the full-time job. Yeah, I think this team, man, I really believe in a lot of the squad. Like, even people who like players that I wouldn't sell, for example, like I know he's hated on a lot, but I think Garnacho, if you have a proper leader, I really think that. I think if you have a proper leader, I don't know if I even believe that.
I was gonna say, do you think he did a good job today?
No,
No,
he wasn't as bad as with against Man United, but he was
Fair.
He was pretty bad.
Fair. He was
I
getting
just want- I
bullied by
just-
all
I don't
his
know.
former teammates.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
there's a lot of I still think there's a lot of talent that if you have the proper manager, like
He's untapped.
then yeah, like what Rosenior did with João Pedro, right? Like you need certain people to unlock certain players. I don't know. I believe in this team. I don't think it's as shit as everybody thinks.
Believe
well,
in
everybody
me.
thinks he's shit. So
Poor
Who?
guy.
We're in the minority
I
on
hope
that
he
one.
does
Garnacho?
land on his feet
Yeah,
and
Garnacho.
ends up at another club. Even one of these mid-table clubs that might be missing a manager. I would like to see Liam Rosenior given a real go
I heard Tottenham's going to be having a lot of spots opening up soon.
in the championship. Maybe if he comes back, brings back Tottenham from the championship, they might be very grateful.
I have heard that they're working on a loan to River Plate for Garnacho, so they might
Really to
Yeah.
send him back home.
send him back home.
Oh damn,
Yeah,
that's not great.
yeah. A lot of people are saying that it's kind of a shocking fall from grace, like for like a player who's like a homegrown Premier League talent to already be sent to South America this quickly. But
Damn.
yeah,
Sometimes they burn too bright.
maybe it's soul searching is what they need. You know, maybe that's what he needs there.
I guess we'll have to find out.
Jeepers creepers, man! I want a winger. I want a proper winger. Oh, I'm heartbroken that
You need a
Esteval is
project
out for the
manager
rest of the
with
season.
time.
Yeah, that's what you need. You need like if you want to, man. I really like if you could go back in time and just tell them, hey, fine, get your kids, get your project, get whatever, but splash the bucks on the manager. Get you a good manager. Get him the couple of players you want. You be like, okay, you're gonna be paid a lot. You're gonna be given players, but you also need to bring up these young talents.
Mm-hmm.
That is
Create a
reasonable.
philosophy that we're going to institute in the academy. So
Right.
when we start selling some of these players, the
You
ones,
get
the next one's up,
You're making too much sense.
Do a Pep.
You're making too much
Do a Pep.
sense.
Do a Pep. Do a Klopp.
There's too much
Do all
logic
these
in
guys.
this argument. They'll never
Yeah.
understand it.
How fun would it be if we got Klopp? Oh my god.
I've heard people talk about
I
that.
have heard that too. That would
He
be
said,
so
he said that he would never
disrespectful.
coach again in the no. And to your other
They have the Klopp
suggestion about-
and him playing away at Liverpool would be
that would be insane.
horrible.
But to your
Horrible.
other suggestion, James, about Henry, I think first off, he's had
It was
a
more
couple
of a I like him and I think he should be given
Yeah.
a shot.
I
somewhere.
feel like some of those elite players make terrible coaches
Yeah.
because I feel like they get frustrated with the talent that they're trying to coach. Why aren't you able to do what I was able to do in 2003? You know, why aren't you electric fast like I was and stuff like that? So I don't know. I feel like
Has he tried
sometimes-
coaching before?
He's
Yeah.
he's
For-
been
for
coaching for a
Belgium.
long time.
Oh,
He's a coach right now.
Yeah, technically he
The
is.
under the France under like 23 team.
He took them
He
to
coached
the
Monaco?
Olympics.
Monaco,
in Monaco as
Montreal,
well.
Not very
Belgium,
successful though.
and France.
I fear.
No, he hasn't been successful at pretty much any of them.
Except for the French. They
Yeah,
won
look,
silver.
no, it
Yeah.
looks it looks like the U23 is really successful and the U21 is really successful. But yeah, none of the senior
Teams were
teams
successful.
were successful. I didn't know he coached. I guess that makes sense.
A lot of people. His name was floating around for the United States team for a little bit.
I do remember that. I remember that.
I remember
I've
they
heard-
asked him on their Champions League show.
Mhm.
He was like, "Would you take it?" He did that
He was
little
like, "What?"
smirking thing that he does with the fucking. I don't know how he does that, but it's hilarious. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been another
Oh,
episode.
wait, hold on a
We-
second.
It's an hour and 5 minutes already.
We gotta
just
talk-
talked about
we gotta
Chelsea
talk
for
about
about
City.
50 minutes.
I
So
know.
what? We're gonna
So
do a
what,
long one
buddy?
today. It's all good.
It's all good. We haven't even talked about my team. We talked about
Yeah,
your
that's
team.
Fuck
the,
you,
we,
man.
that was
Nobody
a great.
cares,
We
dog.
talked
Southampton. I care.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I care. That was
Do
an-
you?
I
Buddy,
do.
You
That
were
was a
just
great-
mad last week that they made
Because
you
we
care
slapped the
about
shit
him.
out of them.
Well, I just care because first of all, they're who we're gonna be faced against
Yeah.
in the final, and it was a great game. What do you mean? They almost it really like the like the tone of the game felt too even throughout the the majority of
Are
the
we
game.
talking about
like,
Burnley or are we talking
the-
about Southampton?
Sorry, I'm going Southampton first.
I
Really
was
quick.
confused too because that Burnley
Yeah.
game was like great game.
Well,
But
no, even
no.
that Burnley game was
It was a
like,
tense game.
surprising, right?
It was a
tense game.
frustrating game because
Yeah.
it was like you guys should. That one O'Reilly had it a foot from the goal.
There
Yeah.
was multiple instances in that Burnley game, so I'll try to be as brief as possible, so you can
Nah, man.
you can take
as
your
long-
nap.
Nah, take another
Okay.
40 minutes. It's fine.
No, I got you, bro. I got you.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it all. Give it to me on
Yeah,
on the
man.
fridge.
Give it to me straight.
That Burnley game was definitely frustrating. It was a must win. At this point, every single game is a must win. We scored extremely early on. A through ball onto Holland, and Holland just slotted it home. I think it was like
Easy peasy,
8-9
man.
minutes or in.
Yeah.
It was
5 minutes in.
I,
5
when,
minutes
I,
in.
when I saw that, I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, it's gonna be a shootout." Oh,
Yeah,
they're-
exactly.
it's a firing line. They're gonna die.
And we talked about last week the fact that, hypothetically, if we both go perfect the rest of the season, which I don't think is going to happen for either of us, it might come down to goal differential. So this was definitely one that we all looked at and we were like, there's going to be some stat padding. It didn't work out like that. Burnley were fighting for their lives without a doubt, and in fact got relegated in this game. I felt kind of bad seeing Kyle Walker, our former captain, getting smacked up by his old homies, but
He
it
played good.
he did. They were very frustrating defensively, and we did have a couple great chances. Like you said, O'Reilly had that amazing chance. Holland definitely could have gotten a couple others. But all in all, at least we got the 3 points. Yes, it could have been a lot more exciting. We could have definitely increased our goal differential, but I ain't mad at it because we got the 3 points. And then, Arsenal responded. Some of these games might be a grind, but as long as we're getting
Another
those 3
boring
points,
game.
potential.
You're gonna have
Yeah,
to
that
try
one
to.
was a boring game. But again, early goal from Meze. But this Southampton game, I mean,
I did
I
not think
feel
that was
like
boring.
no, it wasn't. It wasn't. There was a lot of good chances, but we all laughed at the fact that they eliminated Arsenal last week. But sometimes
That
you have to,
first when that first goal went in, I was like,
yeah, no, and
"Oh, here we go."
there was a disallowed goal. Yeah, there was a disallowed goal in the first half that Southampton almost scored, but they pulled it back because of offsides. But all in all, it definitely heated up in the second half when they did actually put a goal in. I think even before the game, I was a little bit concerned because I saw how much Pep had rotated the squad. Now, I can understand, he since he's fallen on this front four of Doku, Holland, Semenyo, and Turkey in the 10, he's been playing it pretty much every single game. I saw the lineup and that had me a little bit concerned because I was like, we've done this where we over rotate a squad and then it doesn't go our way. I'm thinking Leverkusen in the Champions League earlier this season, where we kind of just took it for granted, like, oh, we got this, and we ended up getting kind of bopped. But you know, at the end of the day, with Rodri going down, I like seeing Nico Gonzalez get a chance in this team, and he came up big.
Yeah.
He came up in a very big way with that second goal. But even before that, another guy who
screamer,
100%, another guy that I don't feel like gets his due plaudits because he doesn't necessarily have all the goals. He doesn't have the assists, but what he provides is pressure and panic in other people's defenses. Doku, who definitely came up with the first goal. It was a crazy deflection, but time and time again, he was terrorizing them on that left side and, just creating chances. And eventually, one of them went in, and it was almost an instant response to them going a goal up. And then just a few minutes later, our young baby Rodri, Nico Gonzalez, came up with a very Rodri-like goal from outside the box and just belted it. And past that point, yeah, Southampton continued to have some good chances, but all in all, I felt like we were in control towards the end, especially after making that comeback, because you could tell that there was some hope, especially because in the split in Wembley, it looked like there was probably a lot more Southampton fans than even City fans.
Yeah, they were talking
So,
about that a little bit. They were kind of
yeah.
saying like they were like Man City fans, it's like falling asleep.
We don't exist. Yeah. I did see that guy.
I was like,
But
oof.
him and the grandpa were just
Yeah, I
like,
was like, damn, you guys must have partied hard, or this is boring to you guys. Winning
first
this much
half-
is boring.
yeah, well, no, that first half, there wasn't a whole lot to celebrate. But hopefully that guy was up for the second half. But yeah,
he's
no,
dead.
all in all,
I think
it
he
was a
just
good game.
died.
all these
Yeah.
goals happened in 8 minutes.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. It was a tense first half, and then just euphoria in the second. Well, it was some
You
good
guys were
moments.
all over them.
And that's gonna be needed going forward, especially Nico Gonzalez stepping up like that, because we don't know how long Rodri necessarily is gonna be out with this most recent. I think it was another groin injury as well. He was starting to bring back the feeling, some of that Ballon d'Or kind of form over the last couple of weeks. But if he's out long term, I feel pretty confident with Nico Gonzalez going forward. So we'll see. We'll see what happens next in the league.
How
but
you feeling against this man's team? How you feeling?
I think
Don't be nice either.
I know, and I know Mateo likes to say I'm the most negative person ever, but
I've never, bruh.
Yeah, we
I
said
said
it
you're
on here.
negative. I didn't say you're the most negative.
I'm pretty
person
okay.
ever.
I'm very
okay.
because I'm
being
I'm,
negative
I'm
about me
cautious-
telling you being negative, bruh.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm always cautiously optimistic because I know, especially now that we are hitting form at the right time, I think we can definitely do a job. But I know that this man's team, despite how he's feeling at the moment, can turn up for a big game. So I think it'll be an exciting final. Hopefully we bop them 3-0 like the last time, but I don't think anything can be taken for granted. And I think Burnley and Southampton show you that, because Burnley wasn't easy like we were expecting, and Southampton scored before us. And, you know, on a different day, another one of their chances could have went in and we could have lost that. So we'll see, but I'm here for it. I'm hoping you don't look so sad next time, but
No, I'm honestly, I don't think I'll feel sad if we lose. I'll feel sad if we lose horribly. Like if we look,
like a beating.
yeah, like if we just look like devoid of any talent, of any drive. I feel like as long as we play like a proper like
English
as
football team.
as an adult team, right? Where like if we get
Yeah.
scored on during the first half, that they just kind of give up.
You guys don't have very many adults.
I don't want it to be sad where like just heads are down and people
Yeah,
are just
yeah.
look like
I want it to be
depressed and
like you
shit.
guys win.
Enzo's thinking about Madrid.
Yeah,
and,
right.
Cucurella's thinking about paella. You know, I don't want
he's
that.
always thinking about paella.
Yeah, you know.
But that's what I mean is like I want it to be a good game. I want both sides to like I want to go for it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm not gonna. Honestly, I'm surprised we made it this far with the amount of chaos we've had this season.
That's
Granted,
true.
we've had a pretty easy run in the FA Cup, all things considered as well. But yeah, even if it goes to penalty kicks and we lose that way,
I don't
still
want
be
nerves
happy.
like that.
I don't care.
I
Honestly,
thought Southampton was gonna go to penalty kicks, man.
I did too.
Yeah. It looked likely until my boy came up big. All right, now James, now we could be done.
Nah, man, it's fine. We can keep going. I don't care.
Or we could talk about how you guys are gonna let Tottenham win so that they can breathe Premier League air next season, right?
Who? Aston Villa?
Yeah, don't you guys play Tottenham next?
We do.
Yeah.
I hope we beat them 7-0.
I think Chelsea might actually
relegate.
Yep. Confirm
I
it.
want to break spirits, you know?
It's looking so grim. It really is. Like
we do play Tottenham next week at 1 p.m.
I'm happy that they won. This is their first win against Wolves since the beginning of this year. Actually, even before that, I think their form was bad even prior. Like their last win in the Premier League was no way.
It was 119
December?
days ago.
He's still scrolling.
Was it Crystal? Yeah, it was Crystal Palace.
It was like
December
119
28th.
days when I saw the post yesterday.
Damn.
119
Madness. They are looking better. So
the first win in 2026.
And you guys did lose your last game, so
we did.
Maybe they'll get lucky.
Possible. Maybe, yeah.
I feel so bad for Xavi Simmons with that
and then
ACL
what happened
tear.
to Solanke?
I don't know. I just saw that he was injured. I don't actually know.
We also didn't play Onana today. So.
Yeah, he just got he might be a knock. He might be back. Yeah, early May, muscle injury. So I think it's just like maybe a slight tear or a slight knock. But yeah, no. Xavi Simmons is not going to play for the World Cup this year.
Damn,
he's out.
You don't think he can heal up? No, he can't.
Bro, as he was being stretchered out, Wolves fans were like calling him a wanker, and he was like verbally fighting him. I was like, bro, you gotta get. He was like, fuck you.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
in
for
the
him.
Stretcher.
In the stretcher, he was like, fuck you, because they were like, wanker.
I can't feel
was like,
my legs.
He just tore his ACL. Why you give him a moment?
Yeah, no.
Heartless.
Ruthless out here, man.
Yeah.
It's like when the Philadelphia Eagles were throwing stones at Santa Claus at Christmas. Ruthlessness in these sports arenas, man. I don't care.
Yeah, cover
There's Eagle stuff over my shoulder.
I was gonna say the Eagles are.
There's a whole corner over there.
They just lost their play.
They're a different creature. They're a different creature.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been another episode of the Tap In Podcast. Like, comment, subscribe, share us with your friends and family if you haven't already. And we will see y'all next week. Peace out.